All right, so guys, like I said, we're doing Yu-Gi-Oh news you might have missed. This is our last one for the year. I think this is our fourth podcast that we've done. Very excited to talk with you about things happening. Of course, let me introduce our guest to you. You guys know our regular co-host with me, Obeliskblue13. And also known as Golden Lord Yugioh. Again, you guys got to check out his profiles. And then we've got Shadowmew7. He was here on our second podcast that we did. And he's a big Yu-Gi-Oh enthusiast as well. But he's also been focusing a lot on his gaming side of things. And his channel is almost up to 150 subscribers. He is one away. If you guys could get in there, I think that would be awesome. So we're very happy to have you back with us, Shadowmew.
Yes.
So, but anyways, we'll go ahead and start here. Now, if you guys remember the last time that Shadowmew was with us, there was Egyptian god support that was announced, and there's more support that they're bringing out as well. And this is a continuous trap card. It's called the Absolute Divine Beast. And the way this works, you can use each of these each effect among the 1 and 2 effects with this card's name once per turn. So the first effect. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can discard 1 spell or trap, then target 1 Divine Beast monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense, and then change the attack target to it. And I'm not too excited about that effect. I think it's okay. The second one, though, I think is really interesting. During the end phase, if you control a Divine Beast monster, you can destroy all face-up cards your opponent currently controls that activated any of their effects on the field this turn. What are your thoughts on that, Shadowmew?
Well, I think that first off, if you're able to somehow play this after they've activated all their search effects or all their other things that have effects on summon activation, like for example, Alistair, even though it doesn't really affect Alistair, or the field spell itself, actually, you can pop both of them, and then you can respond to the I forget the name of the word or the one spell.
Which one are you thinking of?
It's the one that Alistair searches for.
Oh, Invocation.
Yes, that one. So you could activate that and blow everything up, unless they can respond to it.
I think you're reading the card wrong. It says during the end phase, if you control Divine Beast monsters, you can destroy all cards your opponent currently controls that activated any of their effects on the field this turn. So yes, you could destroy the field spell, but you couldn't destroy Invocation because it would be in the graveyard already, and you couldn't destroy Alistair because Alistair would be in the graveyard already. So this is more for face-up things that have already activated.
I wasn't talking about destroying Invocation. I meant just getting rid of the field spell in general.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to make sure you were understanding how the card worked.
No, that makes sense. Carlos, do you think it's going to be effective? Do you think it's just going to be casual? What's your thoughts?
It's probably just going to be casual. Battle traps really don't do much ever.
Oh yeah.
And the second effect, it's neat. It's kind of slow. I wish instead of having that effect where it destroyed face-up cards that activate their effect this turn, I wish it was like once per turn. If you control a Divine Beast monster, you can negate the activation of 1 card your opponent controls.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been a much better card. It's just kind of just gimmicky. And I don't think it's going to see play outside of casual.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the case for sure. It's just too slow. If it was actually a quick effect card and it didn't have to be on the end phase, that would be very effective. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. So while I do think it's nice that they keep bringing out more support, I just don't think that this is going to do enough. Moving on here, though, it looks like they really have a big buy-in here for the Egyptian god cards because they also have some accessories. So Carlos, you had put this on here for the discussion tonight. I'll let you talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, so recently they've been releasing a lot of new accessories, which I really like. They released the Dark Magician Girl set, which hasn't come out yet. It's coming out at the start of the year, I believe, in January. They also released the Ash Blossom set with the binder and the playmat and the sleeves and the deck box. So they've really been hammering home, releasing sets like this. And I actually think the reason that they're going to release this, I think that's kind of hinting towards maybe we're going to get the Egyptian God box that Japan just got, the premium God box, which we've seen. We just saw the cards for. So I think moreover, this is just kind of hinting that we may see that come to the TCG eventually.
And I'm excited about that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I was going to say, even if it doesn't come to the TCG, we're still going to get some awesome gods stuff. I mean, just look at the stuff on the page right now. It's absolutely beautiful. The playmat looks gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
The duelist portfolio looks awesome. It's definitely a collection you're probably going to want to get your hand on.
Yeah, and I like this kind of support. I think lots of players enjoy these kind of accessories, and the more they do this, the better. I hope they would just do it for older archetypes. So, like, for example, I'd like to see one for Ghost Tricks. I loved playing that deck back when I used to be able to play it. I liked it. I would like it for UAs. I think it'd be neat if they had this for every archetype, but I know that could also get expensive, and I don't know how many people would like those fringe decks from the past. I'm not sure, but I do like it.
You wanna know something funny? I think they're actually doing a Christmas giveaway. I think they're doing like 12 days of playmat giveaways.
They are.
And
yes.
I'm pretty sure the playmats that they're giving away are Ghost Trick themed
yes,
playmats.
I already entered, and I also gave Diablos a link, hoping that he'll enter on Twitter.
Yeah, I've been entering as well, so hopefully I get some. Hopefully, I get some more luck. We're not going to spoil anything, but we'll talk about that later.
Yes, I am hoping that I get that. Now, Lightning Overdrive, we talked about that a while ago. That it's going to be a great set, and there has been even more new support that has been brought out. We talked about this a little bit in our last podcast, that the Dogmatica engine is getting support, and it's titled Dogmatica Albaz Knight. And it's a pretty interesting card here. And what's interesting to me is this going to be the year of ritual monsters. I mean, we're ending 2020 with very heavy ritual monsters being used. And now it looks like the OCG is going into it. We're not going to get this until, is it about April, Carlos or Shadowmew? Is that when we would see this, or would it be later than that?
It's probably going to be May.
May? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'd say probably late spring, since we still have the January and around the March set.
Yes, yes. So notice that the ritual monsters are still being pushed somewhat here. So the card reads, you can ritual summon this card with Dogmatica. You can only use this card's name's second effect once per turn. The first effect, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck, which is pretty tough. If an opponent's card or effect is activated, you can send one monster from your extra deck to the graveyard and look at your opponent's extra deck. And if you do, send one monster there to the graveyard. This card gains attack equal to half the sent monster's total attack until the end of this turn. What are your thoughts on this, Carlos, knowing how much you play Dogmatica and this new ritual support that we're seeing? Is this going to make any kind of a splash?
Okay, so I'm going to preface this by saying I don't think this ritual monster is going to be played in Dogmatica. It's just very restrictive. I also think that the ritual spell itself is so much better than the ritual monster.
Mm-hmm.
Just the payoff of it is really, really bad. So first of all, it has 2,500 defense and 500 attack. So
yes,
it's not very strong at all.
Right.
And then its first effect is you can't special summon monsters from the extra deck, which granted a lot of the Dogmatica cards have effects that lock you out of special summoning from the extra deck. The problem is a lot of those cards are only for the turn, or maybe 2 turns in the case of Dogmatica Punishment.
Yeah.
This one's really, really restrictive in the fact that like
Yes.
it just absolutely, you just can't special summon from the extra deck. So first of all, I think it won't be played because of that. Secondly, the second effect, where if your opponent activates a card effect, you can send 1 monster from your extra deck to the graveyard.
Yeah.
Look at their extra deck, and if you do send 1 monster to the graveyard, like that's pretty cool because you can get rid of some of their extra deck resource.
Right.
The thing is, Maximus does that already, and Maximus is so much easier to get out than this.
Absolutely.
This requires you to basically, this requires you to ritual summon, and it's just so hard to get it out. And then the effect where this card gains attack equal to half the attack of the monster sent, right? That kind of sucks because
it's garbage.
Well,
yeah.
let's say, yeah, exactly. Like let's say you're sending one of your opponent's boss monsters. Let's just say a standard attack for a boss monster nowadays is like 3,000, like Dragoon, Borosword, Boroload, right? Things like that. If you send a 3,000 attack monster, you're only gaining 1,500, and this is going up to 2,000.
I know.
What's that?
It's terrible.
What's it gonna do with 2,000 attack?
Absolutely terrible. Looking at, you brought up the spell, the Dogmaticas. Now, this card does look very interesting to me, so I'll read it here. This card is used to ritual summon any Dogmatica ritual monster. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. So I like it's hard once per turn. Ritual summon 1 Dogmatica monster from your hand by either tributing monsters you control or have in your hand whose total levels exactly equal the monster you ritual summon, or by sending 1 monster with the same level as the monster you ritual summon from your extra deck to the graveyard. For the rest of this turn after this card resolved, you cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck. So I like the idea that you can use monsters from your extra deck. I think that's a neat way to do ritual summoning possibly. And I think that could cause some interruption. What's your thinking on that, Shadowmew?
My whole thought on the ritual monster and the actual spell itself. The spell is 100% really, really good. The fact that you can dump stuff from your extra deck because you have stuff like the Herald that when it's sent to the graveyard, you get a search for something.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
They have that one. They have the one fusion monster too, right?
Actually, you can't do that because it has to be the same exact level. So you have to use a level 8 monster.
Oh, okay. So it'd have to be a level 8 that you're sending. Ooh, that does change things. I was thinking it was like what you were saying, Carlos, or Shadowmew. I was thinking you'd be able to send anything that would get close to the level. Yeah, it says the same level. Oh, darn. Yeah, that would have been pretty effective, I thought. Yeah.
It's still... You can go Shadowmew.
Okay. Yeah, because they have the one fusion from the extra deck that you still just target anyways, right?
Yeah, that's the thought process. They want you to use the fusion, and even if you dump the fusion with this, that's pretty good because the fusion gets you a search or a special summon on the end phase. So either way, you're gaining some resource back. You're just it takes a little bit of setup, but I do want to point out something about this card. It says this card can be used to ritual summon any Dogmatica ritual monster, so that potentially leaves room for like future Dogmatica ritual support.
Absolutely, which I do think might be coming because it says that. Grunt just brought up something really good here. If you send Omega, that's actually pretty good because you could just recycle it as well. So that's a very effective level 8 that you could actually send. Because it just has to be the same level, right?
Yes.
Okay, correct. Yeah. So I think there is some tech that people might think of that go with this, but it's an interesting card. I think there's potential for the future. Right now, I'm not sure how great it's going to be played because I feel that the ritual monster just is very lacking. So we'll definitely see in the future. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So looking at the ritual monster, my first thought was, oh, wow, not as bad. It's like my first thought was actually, you can build a really mean anti-meta deck if you know exactly what to hit.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah. Expand on that a little bit. Like, how do you think you would do that?
Well, since a lot of people use a lot of really common 1-card Hockey Fibraxes, you could use them to hit the Fibrax if they waste their normal summon trying to get that out.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that is. If you hit just the right card, that stops their combo, and they are done for a turn. That is a very good point.
You don't really need to hit Union Carrier anymore because Buster Sword's just out. I mean, it's still a good card like I used in my one deck that just makes you dump your entire hands.
Yeah. Oh, that's scary. And if you guys want to see that sometime, Shadow and I can do an exhibition so you can see what he's talking about.
I gotta rework that one because a lot of the other cards got that.
Oh, okay. But guys, it's absolutely frightening. Frightening. Okay.
But yeah, my main thought was just like, if you could potentially just make Dogmaticas into an anti-meta deck and use that as one of the big boss things. And if you know what you're doing, it's really strong.
Yeah. Oh, no. And I could see that, but I think it's going to, I feel that making sure you have the spell with it is what makes it a little tough. And I know there's ways to search for it. That's for sure. Well, wait, or would you be able to search for it? I mean,
the ritual spell?
Yeah, the ritual spell, yeah. And the card.
You have pre-preparations of rights. You have
right, that will give you the spell card, but what about the monster?
Well, pre-prep...
You could potentially play Drytron with this, right?
Yes, I'm assuming Drytron would work with this, yes. In fact, Banana Jesus, I believe, is talking about that in the chat, if I'm not mistaken. That he's got something similar going. Or no, he's using Necros with it. But basically, I don't know.
Generic. You would have to like turn the deck into like a generic ritual deck to like use this specific piece of support, and that's not really what Dogmatica is trying to do. My thing is, it doesn't fit the deck's playstyle as currently constitutes.
Okay, but I do like Shadowmew's idea for the interruption, because if you do hit the right card, that is effective. So again, this is another situation I think we'll see. But for right now, I do think I think it's a good start, but they need a little bit more. But again, we'll definitely see. Now, looking at the next card that I've got here, it's Sky's Gorge. Oh, Zhertz. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Hey, it's my boy's brother.
Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. So, so this cannot be special summoned. Now, in a lot of decks, you don't need to have your normal summon right away. There's lots of decks that can special quite a bit. So this is very interesting, where it says if this card is tribute summoned, you can apply these effects based on the type and attribute of the monster, or monster is tributed for the tribute summon. So if it's Light Fairy, you can add a Light Fairy or a Dark Fiend monster from your deck to your hand. If it's a Dark Fiend, you send one Light Fairy and one dark monster from your deck to the graveyard. So when I think of sending a light and a dark, it makes me think of Blackluster Soldier. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Shadowmew, I'll start with you.
So in the specific deck I literally just talked about, that would fix a lot of the problems that deck has.
Oh, okay. Expand on that. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, the main gimmick of the deck is you just summon his brother Sky Scourge Norlaris, which requires you to have one Light Fairy and 3 Dark Fiends.
Oh god.
And most of the deck is the Burning Abyss cards, which are all Dark Fiends. The main problem is getting the Light Fairy in the graveyard.
Yes, and this would help with that.
Yes, because you can just blink off into a lot of things. Like, I can literally imagine this already.
Oh
just
gosh.
getting me to that point.
All right, you're scaring me there. I mean, how fast you already are thinking of possibilities for this. Wow. Okay. Well, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, because the main thing was just getting Sky Scourge and getting the right things in the graveyard. Since all Burning Abyss cards can be special summoned as long as you don't have spells and traps. I can special summon one, normal summon him, dump a Light Fairy, and I can just do any number of steps to get to the next pieces.
Oh, wow. Okay, interesting. Carlos, what are your thoughts on that?
So instantly what I was thinking about is what level? Oh, level 6. Damn, I wish it was level 7. I wish I say that because if it was level 7, you could have used it with the card Angel 01 that we were talking about.
Oh yeah.
Recently.
Yep.
Unfortunately, you can't. I really haven't played the Sky Scourge deck enough to to like actually know much about it. I do have to say, I based on what the limited knowledge I do know about it, I feel like they could use a little bit more support other than just this.
Okay.
Hopefully they get that.
Okay. Well, and Shadowmew, maybe sometime you could showcase this card when it releases, because I'm sure Nexus will have it loaded at some point. So I'd like to see what you're talking about, the engine that you're thinking you can make this work with. Sounds
What's funny is he's already there.
Oh, he's already there? Oh, gosh. All right. Well, if you can make something, we'll have to do a little showcase. That way people can see how it works.
Will do.
Awesome, awesome. Something else that I thought was interesting, and again, Lightning Overdrive is looking like it's going to be a pretty good set. So this Link monster that I have here, Tri-Brigade Barabloom, the Solid Assaults, I think is a very interesting monster. So you've got, it only takes 2 Tri-Brigade monsters, and that engine can be splashed into so many different decks. So it says here, you can only use this card's names 1 and 2 effects once per turn each. So I do like that you get to use both. It says here, you can discard 2 cards, then target one of your banished level 4 or lower Beast, Beast Warrior, or Wing Beast monsters and special summon it. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Tri-Brigade spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except Tri-Brigade monsters. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Carlos, I'll start with you. What do you think of the card?
Okay, so I really do like the card for Tri-Brigade. I think if you're playing a pure Tri-Brigade, this really helps.
Yes.
The first effect where you can discard 2 cards and target one of your banished level 4 lower Beast Warrior monsters to special summon is amazing, because Tri-Brigades want to have Beast Warriors in the graveyard so that they can activate their main deck monsters effects.
Yeah.
And the thought process is you discard 2 cards, you get to special summon one of your Beast Warriors that's banished, and then it doesn't negate its effect, so then you could potentially activate its effect to banish the cards you just discarded to special summon a Tri-Brigade or a Wing Beast or Beast Warrior monster, Link monster from the extra deck. So instantly, this card, if you could get into it, it gives you like amazing. It gives you like an amazing extender in the fact that okay, discard 2 to special summon one of your banished one, then you can activate the banished one's effect, and you can just combo off from there. And then the card, the second effect that says if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Tri-Brigade spell / trap from your deck to your hand, then place 1 on the from your hand on the bottom of the deck. That's pretty good. The Tri-Brigade spells aren't the absolute best. They have the quick play spell that's pretty good. But other than that, I can't think of any overpowered spells they have. But on a whole note, this is a pretty good Link monster for the deck.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's pretty solid. Your thoughts on that, Shadowmew? Feel that like it's a good card?
I don't actually know much about the Tri-Brigades.
Okay.
But seeing Fire and Beast, and then seeing its effects target banished beasts, I can see it working also if you were able to mix the 2 together. Either Fire Fists or the Boojins.
And Boojins are getting support coming up, which we talked about in our last video that we did. Yeah, I do think that this is a very interesting card, and I can't wait to see what players do with it. I think there is some synergy here that could be used. Now, Carlos, you play Fire Fists. Could you see this in there? Because I know you have a Tri-Brigade Fire Fist deck, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yeah, I do. I think this card is specifically more for pure Tri-Brigades.
Okay.
But I don't see why you couldn't run it in a Fire Fist Tri-Brigade. You would just kind of take out one of your extra deck combo pieces, which that is something I've kind of struggled with. The extra deck is a little bit tight in that deck. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'd play it as a one of in that deck. I'm thinking more this is better in the pure Tri-Brigade, or in the pure Tri-Brigade.
What do you guys think about this in Zodiac? Banana Jesus just brought that up.
I'll be honest, I know like nothing about Zodiacs because I didn't play it at that time.
You know, I didn't either, Shadowmew. I skipped that whole format because I didn't want to mess with Zodiac. Even though now I'm learning about them now that they're back.
Yeah.
But Carlos, do you think that could be possible?
Pretty much any. You could technically play this in any kind of Tri Brigade variant. The question is,
Oh, you're breaking up there, Carlos. Oh, I cannot. Are you still there? Uh-oh.
can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Hello?
Oh,
Hello, sorry.
yeah, I feel like we're losing you. Are you still there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. No, I was moving my laptop and I unplugged my my microphone.
Oh.
And like I was trying to scramble to like plug it back in, and
that's
doing
okay.
So,
that happens. You're all right. Okay.
But yeah, I was saying what I was saying is technically you could play this in any variant of Tri Brigade. The real question is in what deck are you going to get the most value out of it? And I think you're going to get the most value out of it in a pure Tri Brigade deck.
All right. Awesome. Now, one thing we had talked about last time, and Shadowmew, you were here for this video when we talked about the Holy Knight archetype, which I am so pumped for. And we actually see that Lightning Drive is going to have more support for it. So we've got two monsters here that I feel is directly a part of this. So the first one we have here is, Bahartia, Sky Piercer of the Light. Don't know if I'm saying that right. I probably butchered
that was a pretty good pronunciation right there. That was a good one.
So it says here, you can tribute summon this card by tributing one effect monster. You can only use this card's second effect once per turn. So 1, during your opponent's main phase, so notice during your opponent's main phase, if your opponent adds a card or cards from their deck to their hand outside of drawing, and this card is in your hand, you can activate this effect. Immediately after this effect resolves, tribute summon this card. So you're going to have a card on the field and tribute. If this card is, and here's the second effect, if this card is normal or specialed from the hand, you can activate this effect. Your opponent banishes cards from the top of their deck, face down, equal to the number of cards in their hand. Then your opponent shuffles their hand into the deck, and if they do, they add the cards banished by this effect to their hand. Woo, that is interesting. Carlos, thoughts you have on that?
Yeah, so the main thing I was thinking is that this is kind of used like if your opponent adds a card to their hand, and you know for sure it's a combo piece and it's like a 1-card combo. You could tribute summon this on your opponent's turn via tributing an effect monster, and then you could technically get rid of that combo piece, which is pretty good. I just it seems a little bit slow. I think you're gonna get the most value out of this as playing it in the Holy Knight deck. I think though, I don't think it's gonna be a 3 of like the Holy Knight boss monsters. I think this one might more be a 1 of kind of tech option, if not coming out of the side deck. For every other deck, I'm not really a big fan of it, but for the Holy Knight archetype, I can see this card being played as like a 1 or maybe like a 2 of in the side deck.
Okay. Thoughts that you have there, Shadowmew?
I still think the whole archetype is just going to be a really janky anti-meta deck.
Oh, I know. I can't wait, man. I am so pumped about this archetype. And when I saw that there was new support already, I'm like, yes. I cannot wait to play this.
For it.
Oh, sorry, I missed that, Carlos. What'd you say?
I said I'm honestly so excited for it. Like I really wish there was a Christmas set that came out.
Oh, me too.
Closer to Christmas, so we could get it like ASAP because I really want to play with it.
Yeah.
But I do think that like maybe it's going to be in Ghost from the Past because because the Holy Knight deck is in Selection 10, and if Selection 10s are Ghost from the Past, we could probably see it in there, and in which case I'd be so.
Oh, I'd be psyched. Yeah.
I have a case. I have a case of Selection 10 on the way. So
yeah, I'd be pretty pumped. But Shadowmew, your thoughts on the card though?
The card itself, just being able to disrupt your opponent if they have like normal summoned or activate a spell to search out a card. Most of those cards say you can only do it once per turn.
Yeah.
So if you can just disrupt exactly what they're going to be doing, and the new hand they get doesn't help them get into a better state, you've effectively just ruined their turn.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty good card. I'm excited to try it just to see what the interruption might be like. Because when I think of Monarchs, when I think of Ether, it does something very similar where it interrupts in such a way that your opponent has a very hard time. And that's what I'm hoping that this card will do. So
You
we'll
know what,
see.
too?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just had a thought while thinking about this. This is totally the out to dumb gamers, dumb gamers Exodia deck he was playing against us. That cheese Exodia deck. This is like the out to it. So if you're watching dumb gamers, you better not try that against me anymore. I got you out.
Dumb gamers, I'm sure you would not be happy if you're playing that.
Why are you calling him out like that?
Because we were playing tag duels, and he literally was playing Exodia and tried to like OTK 2 people on one turn. And it was like, come on, man.
Okay, let's look at the next one now. So we got Holy Knight Seal, where it says you can only use this card's names 1 and 2 effects once per turn each. So the first one, if this card is in your hand, you can return 1 level 7 Light Dragon monster or 1 Holy Knight monster you control to the hand, except Holy Knight Seal, special summon this card. If you control no monsters, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon 1 level 7 Light Dragon monster from your hand. I do think that's pretty decent. What are your thoughts on that, Shadowmew?
The first effect is pretty good because you want to bounce the 1 anyways because that gets more benefit from being summoned and being bounced back because it's a pop effect is not once per turn.
Yeah.
But also the fact that the other ones have, and when you play this card, search for this, and this is a effect that you can just do. The other one just fits as well for the other one that pops. You just get to Spanish it and special summon.
Yeah. I think it's pretty good. I like the card. Carlos, your thoughts?
I'm gonna be honest. I really like this too. This kind of gives you a reason to play Foolish Burial in the deck because you can Foolish Burial this, and then special summon the dragon in your hand if you have it in your hand, which I'm sure you would because a lot of the deck basically revolves around searching it. So I really do like it because it gives you like Shadowmew said, it gives you a way to get the dragon back to your hand, which a lot of the deck does already.
Yes.
But it gives you another way to do it, and then it gives you a follow-up play. Like, say, if your opponent, if they're able to survive, their turn with all your disruption of your dragon, and then you need a follow-up play on your turn to start popping some of their stuff again, you can activate its graveyard effect. So I'm a big fan of this card. I like it.
Yeah. I think it's pretty good. I again, like Shadowmew said, I just think it's gonna be very good at interrupting and just causing mayhem, and I can't wait. All right, the next card I want to talk about has actually already released. So in Rise of the Duelist, which that set was just crazy when it comes to expensive cards, but in Rise of the Duelist we got Fallen of Albaz. Now there's a card that also came out later in support of, I believe, the Glory Dragon. I'm not sure if it was in the same set. But this card is getting support. And it's getting support in the way of several new cards here. So we've got Spriggan's Merrymaker. It's an Xyz monster. It takes 2 level 4 monsters, so very generic. And it says here, you can only use this card's names 1 and 2 effects once per turn each. And again, Konami, thank you for making all of these hard once per turns. If this card is special summoned from the extra deck, you can send 1 Spriggan's monster from your deck to the graveyard. 2, during your opponent's main phase or either player's battle phase, you can banish this card until the end phase. Then, if this card had 2 or more materials, you can send 1 fusion monster that uses Fallen of Albaz as a material from your extra deck to the graveyard. Now, Carlos, I know that it's very limited in what they've got so far. Is that going to start causing havoc possibly?
No, I really don't think so. Just because the Fallen of Albaz fusion monsters really aren't the most broken. The best one is Titanclad.
Yes.
The Ash Dragon, and it lets you search it lets you search a Dogmatica card at the end phase. So
Right.
I mean, this deck is literally also tied into the Dogmatica Trap Brigade Lord. So it's really no surprise that it lets you search Dogmatica stuff. But in terms of like wreaking havoc on the meta, I don't really see it wreaking havoc on the meta. I just think this is kind of like a roundabout way to dump Titanclad, and
Okay.
there's so much there's much easier ways to do that if you're gonna play Dogmatica anything.
Okay. So, Shadowmew, your thoughts? Do you think that this is going to receive support in the future that could be really problematic? What are your thoughts on that?
Um, I kind of missed this one. Also, not gonna lie.
That's okay. No. Honestly, because the Dogmatica cards, I think, were in the format where you weren't playing too much, so I totally understand that. But I do worry if because I feel like they're pushing this Fallen of Albaz card. If it ends up getting more support, could we end up seeing something later down the line? Is my fear, and I just don't know yet. So we'll definitely see. Going to the effect monster now, we've got Spriggan Brothers. And I have no idea if I'm saying these right. It says here you can only use this card's name 1 and 2 effects once per turn each. If this card is sent from the hand or deck to the graveyard, you can target one Spriggan monster in your graveyard, except Spriggan Brothers, and special summon it in defense. 2, if this card is in your hand, field, or graveyard, you can target one Spriggan's Xyz monster you control and attach this card to it as an Xyz material. So, Carlos, do you think it's good? What are your thoughts on that one?
So this one's pretty decent. I like the synergy with the Spriggan's Merrymaker and then the Spriggan's Brother, because
Uh-huh.
when you XC summon Merrymaker, you could use his first effect to dump this the Spriggan's Brother, and then you could get a revive off that. So that's pretty cool. I think there's a lot of, if I'm not mistaken, there's a lot of there's a lot of ways to dump stuff from the deck and the Spriggan's deck. So I think this is a really good effect for the deck.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on then to the next card, and it's the spell card, which now I thought this was pretty interesting. So it's Spriggan's Booty, and it says you can only use this card's names 1 and 2 effects once per turn each. If a face-up Xyz monster you control leaves the field by a card effect, you can target one effect monster your opponent controls, and that monster cannot activate its effects that activate on the field for the rest of this turn. You can send this face-up card from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard, activate one vast desert Golgonda from your deck or graveyard. I don't know what the second effect does at all. But the first effect I thought was interesting because it is a continuous spell card. So would that mean that you'd have interaction on your opponent's turn as well?
Yeah, but your opponent would have to be the one to kind of like initiate that contact.
Yeah.
And I don't see them I don't see them doing that really. They could just play around that rather.
Well, no, I was thinking like, so it says here, if a face-up Xyz monster you control leaves the field by a card effect, notice it says a
Oh,
card
by any
effect.
card effect.
Yeah, so
Okay, well,
I'm thinking you remove your own card, and then it's like an effect veiler on your opponent's turn, if that makes sense.
yeah, it does. It does kind of make sense. In that situation, yes, I could definitely see you playing it. I would just kind of have to I basically have to read the archetype more and find out like if they have any basically allow them to get rid of Xyz monsters.
Okay, okay.
Could you actually go back to the Xyz monster we just read?
Yeah, sure can. So going back to Merrymaker there, because it says during your opponent's main phase or either player's battle phase, you can banish this card until the end phase.
Absolutely, and in that case, that card becomes really good interaction.
Okay.
You could special summon Merrymaker, dump the Spriggan's Brothers to special summon a Spriggan's from your graveyard. Then during your opponent's turn, if you have the Merrymaker and the continuous spell Booty, you could banish the Merrymaker to activate Booty's effect to basically get a effect veiler, and
Yes.
that's pretty good. It's just a lot of kind of
Yeah,
it seems
interaction
like
that would have to happen. Yeah.
it's just a lot of setup for one form of disruption when you could just play effect veiler.
Yeah, I agree. Your thoughts on that, Shadow Mew?
So I would say that if you're somehow able to remove the Xyz monster before they can activate an important effect, it's really good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also, I pulled up the card second effect targets,
Uh-huh.
and it's pretty interesting. It's another continuous. It's a field spell actually.
Oh, okay.
So all Spriggans Xyz monsters gain 1,000 attack,
Ooh.
and then you can only use each effect of this once per turn. The first one is if you control no Xyz monsters that are Spriggans, discard a Spriggan card, then special summon any Xyz Spriggan monster from your extra deck.
Oh, wow.
If a face-up Xyz you control leaves the field by card effect, you can target one monster your opponent controls. It can't attack this turn, even if this leaves the field.
Oh, wow, that is very interesting. Yeah, I didn't know what the second card did. Wow, that's pretty interesting. So what are your thoughts on that now hearing that?
Well, if they make a lot more powerful Spriggan Xyz monster, that could potentially be a really good field spell that you just get to cheat
Well,
out if they ever decide to deal with the
they
continuous spell.
they do have a more powerful monster.
Yeah,
One of
that's
one of their Spriggans is like it's like it's a big rank, but basically it can destroy. It has like a column destruction mechanic,
Oh, yes,
and
yes. Uh-huh. Yeah.
so it can destroy any card in. I believe it can switch columns, and it can destroy any cards in its column and then the adjacent column. So it kind of acts as like a bomb, which I find funny.
Spriggan Ship Explorer.
Yes.
Just try to find the actual effect.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Like,
I don't have that on the screen.
They revealed that previously, so it's one of the first pieces of support they revealed.
Okay.
So this is kind of just the continuation of it. I honestly haven't played the deck enough. I mean, the deck's not out yet, but I haven't play
Right.
tested it. So I'd have to play test more to know like what's super broken. But like, it seems to have like some potential.
Yeah. Yeah.
all right,
Do you have that
so
effect though, Shadow Mew?
yes, all right. So 2+ level 8 monsters choose one opponent's monster zones or spell and trap card zone.
Oh, wow.
Destroy detach any number of materials, then destroy that many cards your opponent controls in those chosen zones.
Oh.
Or in the monster or spell and trap zone, top, bottom, or adjacent to the chosen zone.
Adjacent? Heck yeah.
Yes.
I'm excited about that. That knocks the field spell. Yeah.
Wait, it has one more effect also.
What's the other effect?
During your opponent's main phase or battle phase, you can banish this card until the end phase, which is what I was talking about
Oh,
with this.
yeah.
With the continuous spell you currently have, you can literally just shut down an effect immediately as soon as they're about to do it.
Woo. Woo, that sounds interesting. Okay, so yes, there's potential here for sure, guys. And I think in the right people's
the funny
hands.
thing
Oh,
too
go ahead.
is this deck is going to be mixed with Dogmatica because it's literally the lore. So you
Okay.
see a get through the desert. So that's what a lot of the artwork in this deck's kind of depicting.
Oh, and I love the
And
artwork. Yes, I think the
yeah,
artwork is fantastic in this deck.
This is going to be
absolutely.
a scary mix-up.
Yeah, well, and I think it's going to be interesting if you get it in the right player's hands. And that's why I love having these discussions because everyone thinks about the cards in such different ways. I love it. Now, with the way they're pushing Fallen of Albaz, do you think that this is going to have an Alistair effect on the meta if it's mixed correctly? What are your thoughts on that, Shadow Mew?
I still think that Alistair will always be the better option because
Yeah.
Alistair is either players' graveyards also, not just
Yeah.
the fields.
Yeah.
And
That's a great
hitting an
point.
opponent's graveyard is a lot scarier than hitting their field mostly.
Yeah, good point. Carlos, do you agree with that?
Yeah. So first of all, I do agree because you take resource away from their graveyard, which is amazing. Secondly, This card literally just doesn't have enough good targets. Like it only has Titanclad so far as a good target, and
Right.
it just needs it needs more support. Also, like whereas you have to like I just think that Alistair's better because it has better targets. Is basically the
Yeah.
roundabout of where I
Well,
was
and
going to go with that.
like people are pointing out in the chat, and I was going to mention this as well. Alistair goes so plus. I mean, you
Yeah.
normal, you get a card, then you link off and get another card, then you link off again, then you fuse and you get another card. I mean, it's just so powerful, and I think there's
The,
potential for Albaz, but it's just not there yet.
the main thing with Alistair being better than Albaz is the field spell itself that Alistair has access to, which just says you can't stop a fusion summon. It has to happen.
Uh-huh.
Albaz doesn't have something like that.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Definitely makes sense to me. Let's go ahead and talk about the support that Albaz seems to be getting, though.
Hopefully it's good.
So, because he is definitely getting support here. So, if you look at this, the first one here is Albion, the Stigmatica Dragon, and it says that you can only use this card's name 1 and 2 effects once per turn each. If this card is fusion summoned, you can fusion one level 8 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck, except Albion the Stigmatica Dragon, by banishing your monsters in the hand, field, or graveyard as fusion monsters. Second effect, during the end phase, if this card was sent to the graveyard during this turn, you can take one Stigmatica spell or trap from your deck and either add it to your hand or set it directly to your field. And there's cards that do support this. So the first one here, you've got Stigmatica of White. It's a normal spell card. And you can only use the card's names 1 and 2 effects once per turn each. So the first one, fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck by using monsters you control or have in your hand, including a dragon monster, as materials. If you're using Fallen of Albaz as the material, you can also banish materials from your graveyard instead. During the end phase, if this card was sent to the graveyard the turn to activate the effect of Fallen of Albaz, you can also set this card to your field. Okay, so what's your thinking on that there, Shadowmew? What do you think about that interaction?
I'd say depending on what your other fusion target for the fusion monster itself, that can be pretty good. But I can't think of easy to get out level 8 fusion monsters based on what you already have in your hand, a field or a graveyard.
Yeah.
The other one though is
I think they're wanting you to special summon the other fusion monsters, the Albaz fusions. But once again, those just aren't good. Like you only have one good target in Titanclad. So it's like you guys keep telling us you want us to fusion summon these or you want us to dump them to the graveyard, but you're not giving us like a boss monster to fusion summon. Like give us the boss monster.
Okay.
The other effect is always good because just being able to search for cards is always good.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Being able to search, I think, is wonderful. And I also think it's great when you can reuse cards. So this card's saying that if it was actually sent to the graveyard, you can set it. That's building a field. So I'm all for that kind of interaction. Now, looking at the traps that come with this archetype, again, they just seem to be throwing support towards this Fallen of Albaz card. So it says here, you can only use, this is Judgment of Stigmatica. You can only use this card's name's second effect once per turn. Target one level 8 or higher fusion monster you control. Destroy all monsters your opponent control whose attack is higher than or equal to that monster's. Second effect, during the end phase, if this card was sent to the graveyard this turn to activate the effect of Fallen of Albaz, you can set this card to your field. Carlos, what's your thought on that trap?
So the first effect's really good, especially because you can search it with some of the other cards. So I was gonna say, like, just off the first effect, it's a pretty good form of disruption. The second effect has me a little bit confused though. It says during the end phase, if this card was sent to the graveyard this turn to activate the effect of Fallen of Albaz, you can set this card to to your field. Fallen of Albaz, doesn't it just fusion summon using Fallen?
I think so. Yeah.
So it discards. I think you said you have to discard a card.
You
to
do.
Activate
You have
it,
to discard. That's right. Yes, you have to discard one card. So that's where the effect would come in. Great thinking there, Shadowmew.
Okay. Can you go back to it? I just want to read it.
Yeah.
The trap again. Phase of this was sent to the graveyard during. During the end phase of this card was sent to the graveyard. Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like it's a way to. Yeah, that's a bit confusing the way they worded it. But yeah, it is pretty good in the fact that like even like it's disruption, and even if you pitch it to activate the Albaz, you still get it anyway. So really can't complain about it.
Yeah. I think it's pretty good. Shadowmew, your thoughts?
Yeah, you're technically not going negative if this is the card that you're discarding to Fusion Summon because you're just going to get it back anyways.
Yeah.
And the Destroy ability is just a good bit of disruption as long as you don't let them get any monsters that have too high of an attack out.
Yes.
But it doesn't work on decks like obviously Alistair and
they're all low. Yeah, good point.
There's a few deck types where it's not very good to use it on.
Yeah. And it is, and I do like what Grunt's saying here in the chat. The idea that they are traps too, that does make them just a little slow. So because of that does hold them back a little bit rather than if it was just a spell. But it's also during the end phase, so you couldn't activate it then too. Looking at Stigmatica Ominous Cry now, it says you can only use this card's name's second effect once per turn. It's if a fusion material was sent to the graveyard during this turn, special one of your fusion materials from the graveyard or that is banished. And then the second effect, it's similar to the other ones. During the end phase, if this card was sent to the graveyard this turn to activate the effect of Fallen of Albaz, you can set this card to your field. Okay, so starting with you, Shadowmew, this time, what do you think of that card?
I feel like it'd probably be a slightly more used Omega Summon. Just because you don't go negative if you have to discard it. But
makes sense.
From what I saw from the other monster, you don't really have to banish the fusion monsters too much yet.
Right.
And being able to target from the graveyard is nice.
I agree.
But again, I don't think there's too many targets yet that are good reasons to run too many of it.
Yeah, again, and that's what you were saying, Carlos. There just isn't enough yet to get in there and really go full steam with it. Do you still feel that's the case here?
Yeah, absolutely. And something I hate about this card too is the fact that it's a trap card and not a quick play. Like literally all of the cards you're jumping on your turn.
Yeah.
So why the heck did they think it was a good idea to give the deck this effect in the form of a trap? Because literally it's saying like you have to set it first.
Yeah.
Then on your turn, you have to wait. You have to give your opponent a turn, hope your opponent doesn't kill you. And then on top of that, then you get to activate it on your turn. It's just so slow.
It is slow. And even with it, even if it was a quick effect, when you set a quick effect, you can't activate that turn. So that's the hard part with this. That I really feel like they have some. It's interesting thinking, but when you think about the way the game moves and how fast it moves, I just not sure how well it's going to work.
No, if it was a quick play spell, you could activate it because it says if a fusion monster was sent to the graveyard during this turn, especially summon one of the fusion monsters from the graveyard. So what you would do is you would like dump any of the fusion monsters via like the Dogmatica, the Nadir Servant or the Maximus, and then if it was a quick play spell or even a normal spell, you could activate it and then special summon the dumped thing from the graveyard.
Even if it's a quick play, I thought the turn you set quick plays, you can't activate them.
Yeah, you can't activate quick play spells the turn you set them. The thing is, it wouldn't have to be set. You would just activate it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. I see what you're saying now.
Yeah,
okay.
The only reason you have to set this is because it's a trap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I will say, though, that they do have a secret kind of really good benefit in that they're generic fusion monsters. They're not stuck to their archetype for what you're targeting.
That's a good point. That is a very good point. I didn't think about that. And with it being generic, players will have lots of options then. That's a great point, Shadowmew. Okay, moving on now. We have the Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon, which is coming out in the Legendary Duelist Season 2 set. And the way this card works, if this card is special summon, you can add 1 ritual spell or 1 polymerization from your deck to your hand. During your end phase, you can add 1 level 8 or higher dragon monster from your deck to your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard. All level 8 or higher dragon monsters you control gain 1,000 attack. You can only use each effective Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon once per turn, and you can only activate them while Blue Eyes White Dragon is on the field or in the graveyard. Yeesh. Let's start with you here, Carlos. What do you think of this card?
Not a big fan of it.
No.
It's so slow. So first of all, you have to special summon it, and if you're playing this in Blue Eyes, like how are you going to special summon this?
Yeah.
It's very, very slow. Secondly, the things that it searches polymerization, which is neat, or a ritual spell. So I guess Chaos Max, but like there's easier ways there's literally easier ways to search those if you're playing the fusion or the ritual variant.
Yeah.
And then it just buffs attack. Like it's really nothing too good.
Yeah, it's very funky. Shadowmew, your thoughts?
I'm just really tired of seeing Blue Eyes support by this point.
Yes. Okay, that's the next thing I wanted to get into here. There's Blue Eyes everywhere when it comes to support. And then what do you get for Red Eyes Black Dragon? Oh, here you go. Here's another prismatic collection to add to your collection. I'm like, oh, come on, guys. And this brings up the next topic. Do Red Eyes players ever feel left out? Now, don't get me wrong. Dragoon is a great card. I mean, this card is wonderful if you're playing Red Eyes. However, this isn't for pure Red Eyes. It's for anything.
Yeah, it is for anything. And Dragoon was literally, this is literally the only good piece of Red Eye support that's been released in years. The whole archetypal gimmick that they tried with like equipping cards onto Red Eyes things, like that was never gonna work. And then they tried to like revamp it with Red Eyes alternative Black Dragon, and it didn't do anything.
Yes.
Like, man, they literally it feels like they don't know what they want to do with the Red Eyes deck. Like they give it support, but none of the support actually works together.
Yes. Yeah, and I agree with this. Because when I think of the Red Eye or the Blue Eyes alternative White Dragon, that was an amazing piece of support for that deck. I mean, absolutely ground changing. And then I heard about the Red Eyes alternative Black Dragon. I'm like, oh, right, it's going to be something similar. And it's not. It's not similar at all in terms of what I think it should do. So, Shadowmew, do you just feel that they're just putting too much Blue Eyes stuff out there? What should they do differently to help Red Eyes probably get better?
Give some kind of benefit for actually summoning the dragon?
Yes.
Because if you're playing Red Eyes, you will never actually summon Red Eyes. He doesn't do anything.
Yes, he's a 2400 body. That does. I mean,
if he was
tribute summon cards that are so much higher.
But he's 7.
Literally, the only reason you play Red Eyes is to get out Dragoon. Like, if they did it, if they really wanted to make Red Eyes good, what they would do is they would start from scratch. They would build a fusion deck based on the fact that Red Eyes Fusion is an amazing spell card, and you can literally just cheese out any fusion monster, right?
Yeah.
So that's what they would do. Like, it has to be, to me, it has to be a fusion deck, and it has to have like some awesome fusion monsters. Dragoon's an amazing start. They need more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know.
Also,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Also, they need main deck monsters.
Yeah.
That literally do anything good. Like, give them a main deck monster that searches Red Eyes Fusion. Do literally anything with the deck, please.
Yes.
I would say that if they wanted to actually give it more support, just have them look over at Burning Abyss Dragon.
Oh,
the synchro monster.
Yeah.
That thing, literally everything it ever gets is just working towards get out Calamity, win the game.
Yeah. Interesting. Yes. There's just so much potential here for them to make money. That's what gets me here. if you look at Red Eye stuff, it sells. People love Red Eye stuff. For some reason, they're stuck on, the Joey fan bus. But I'm shocked with how much people want Red Eye stuff that they're not giving it more support. And like you guys are saying, especially with what you said, Shadowmew, make it count if you summon that level 7 monster.
I will say
I
that
don't
the
feel
main
that it
reason
ever
I
counts.
probably don't like him
Oh, say
is
it
because he's
again.
from Brooklyn.
Wait, say that again. I
He's
totally
from-
missed what you said. I'm sorry. Say it again.
I said to feel like the only reason they don't like him is because he's from Brooklyn.
Oh, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. To all our Brooklyn people, we love you that if you're watching. Okay, so let's go ahead and look here. Now, for the Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's dub, we got it was confirmed here by Darren Dustin that it is coming. And this picture here, I tried to take several. This is the best one I could get. Okay. So
He looks uneasy that it's coming in dub.
So, before we go any further, I just wanted to say, Shadowmew, you better watch out, man. I'm close to Brooklyn. Like I grew up really close to Brooklyn.
But do you feel the hatred also from Konami?
I feel like they just hate Joey in general. I don't think it's a Brooklyn bias.
Well, they give Joey the worst cards. I mean, seriously. If
Literally,
you've ever played the decks he plays, they're awful. I mean, it's so bad.
The only time that Joey has an actual good deck is when they're in the Night Saga, when they have the Seal of Orichalcos and everything.
Oh yes,
That's the best his deck has ever been.
To be honest, what they could have done is they could have like given Jinzo actually good support, and they could have been like, "Oh, look, Jinzo's a Joey card." Instead, they gave Jinzo trash support, and they're like, "Oh, it's an Esperoba card," and it's like technically yes, but like literally he won it like right away. So it's like, damn,
yeah.
Everyone knows Jinzo as a Joey card.
Yeah, it's just yes, exactly, absolutely. Now, Sevens is coming. I have not been watching. I'm not a fan right now because it does seem very different to me. However, Carlos, I know you've been watching. Do you like the show?
It's grown on me. There's things I don't like. There's things I do like.
Okay.
It's really, really damn goofy.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of times where you're like, man, this doesn't feel like a Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
But then there are some times where you're like, okay, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
They do live on nostalgia bait a lot in that show, and it's like, damn, I wish you guys would just try some new stuff for once instead of, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Literally living off Yu-Gi-Oh's past. But it overall it's an okay show. Like it's growing on me. Specifically the arc that I just got out of, which was called the Maximum Summon arc. That was really, really good. It feels like before that the show was kind of just the same thing every episode. Yeah. It was like kind of just dragging along. But once they went into that arc, they really kicked the show into overdrive, no pun intended.
Well,
and so
yeah, go ahead.
I've enjoyed the later portions of the show.
Now, one thing I'm wondering though, because personally, from what I've seen, I'm not sure it's for me. But does this mean that we're going to see Rush Dueling come here really soon?
So I do. So first of all, I want to say, I looked at I was looking at the screen you have up, and it reminded me of something. It pisses me off that Seven's Road Magician doesn't have 2,500 attack, and they didn't continue that tradition.
Wow,
like that really pissed me off about the show.
What is its attack?
It's 2,100, and it's so
what?
weird.
It's worse. Why would you have it be worse?
Honestly, it's because it has an actual effect.
What's the effect?
It can gain attack based on, I think it gains like 300 attack based on every different attribute you have in the graveyard.
Oh wow. Okay, so
so yeah, it's meh at best. So it's like whatever. So that is what pissed me off. Anyways, in terms of is Yu-Gi-Oh 7's coming to you said can you repeat the question?
So are we going to be having Rush Duels, do you guys think?
Absolutely. If they're bringing it to America, and they recently filed for a trademark of the term rush duel. I 100% believe we're getting rush duels, and I actually think they're going to phase out speed duels eventually.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks because they just released the best speed duel product they've like ever released. So it's
right.
like,
And I went looking for it for my family for Christmas, and I could not find it.
oh my god, it
I
was
went
so
to
hard
all
to find.
these Walmarts and Targets, and I could not find it. I was like, darn.
You literally can't find it at Walmart and Target. You have to order it online at like TCG Player.
Okay.
Or thankfully, I was able to find it. I actually went to Fort Wayne for my for Christmas for my to visit my girlfriend's family, and some of the game shops in Fort Wayne had it, and that was literally the only way I was able to get it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I even went to game shops and could not find it. I was like, but I actually heard the game shop owners tell me speed duel stuff just doesn't sell. So when I heard that, I thought, ooh, that's not a good sign if you're hearing that from card shops.
So I think honestly, what it is like Konami kind of bit themselves in the butt, essentially, because the speed duel stuff that they released was so bad to start that like no one wanted to like buy it, and it's like, man, you can't just reprint old cards that aren't good.
Yes, and that's like, exactly what they did. They just reprinted old stuff. I don't understand the thinking with that.
And there's totally nothing wrong with reprinting old stuff. You just have to make sure the old stuff you reprint is good. Like if you're going to do a set and it's going to be based on old school Yu-Gi-Oh, kind of like, I know this is going to sound gimmicky, but why don't you like reprint Legend of Blue Eyes and like start from the beginning?
Yeah.
Because like, do you know what people would do to like open up some Legend of Blue Eyes again?
Absolutely.
Speed duel, Legend of Blue Eyes, and then have it like basically be Legend of Blue Eyes. Just get rid of like the broken cards you don't think you think are too powerful for speed duels, and I think that would have literally sold like hotcakes. But again, like the people who are running the speed duel stuff, I'm pretty sure it's a EU/North America thing, and if it's not coming from the Japanese Konami, they don't know how to run the game properly over here.
And I agree, it hasn't worked out very well. How do you feel hearing that, Shadowmew, that Rush Duels is probably coming and the anime's coming? How does that make you feel?
I love watching card game animes so much just because there's some that are just, they either make it really goofy, take it super seriously, or my favorite that I've started watching is the Shadowverse TCG for the mobile game.
Oh, really? Okay, I have not seen that yet. Okay.
There's literally a part where he's dueling like a famous pop idol in front of an audience. And he's destroying her.
Oh gosh, really?
And the audience starts booing him. He's like, I'm just playing the game.
I like it. That would be so many of us where we're just doing what we know to do, and we're like, sorry.
No, but she's like really good at the game. She just holds back because she's supposed to. So she could have easily beat him, but she had to hold back, and he's just like, I'm just playing the game. Leave me alone.
You're talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s?
No, I'm talking about does that happen in it?
Yes, it does, actually. That's why we're so confused. I was like, is he talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s? Because it doesn't sound like he is. But
no, I was talking about a different one called Shadowverse for the mobile game.
Shadowverse? I haven't seen this. No, I'm gonna have to look it up now. I've never ran into this at all.
The game is fun-ish, and the anime is hilarious.
Hey, I'm all for fun. So if the anime is hilarious, I'll definitely be checking that out. And so Shadowverse, right?
Yes.
Okay, I will be looking that up. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so that's 7's coming to the US in the future. Now, we finally got more information about the Ancient Guardians booster set. So I'm pretty excited about this. We found out that it is going to be 60 cards, so that's very interesting. 10 ultras, 15 super rares, 35 rares. Carlos, how do you feel about those that breakdown?
So we knew that this would be the breakdown because it's following the same breakdown as Toon Chaos and
okay.
And Freak, what was the other set that just came out? Genesis Impact. So we knew that that's how the breakdown was going to come. I think the real question is what are going to be the reprints in this set. Hopefully they have some cool reprints.
Yeah.
And then that leads to some pretty cool collector's rares. And also, I just hope the archetypes, for the sake of the set, I hope the archetypes are better than Genesis Impact.
Yes.
And
yes.
Specifically that mecha archetype, I absolutely want that mecha archetype to be good because that artwork is A1.
Okay. Have you heard about these Shadowmew, the Ancient Guardians?
No, but from just reading the description, all I can see is so you're telling me bring back my Gravekeepers?
Yeah, so that you can shut that down, right?
Nope. You just spent money on this? Nope. Have fun. No.
Oh, Shadowmew, I love having you on the channel, man. You make me laugh. That's hilarious. All right.
You are no longer allowed to do the thing.
I love that kind of thinking because I like playing decks like that just shuts down what my opponent's doing. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to this craziness, which is they're releasing 2 Yu-Gi-Oh video games. I don't understand. So there's going to be one for the Switch, and then there's going to be one from Konami. Carlos, go ahead and share what your thinking is on this.
Okay, so I actually stood up to watch the presentation. So both of these pieces of news were announced during Jump Festa, and so Jump Festa is a annual festival where anime, basically people in the anime community come together and they like reveal news about like upcoming stuff they have. And so Yu-Gi-Oh had a booth at Jump Festa, and typically when they do that, it's because they're gonna announce something big, right? So during this year's Jump Festa, they decided to announce that the first night they announced a new video game, and they didn't give any details. They just called it Yu-Gi-Oh Master Rule. And so it's gonna be a video game, or it's gonna be a game based on the Master Rule. But they left that ambitious as to whether it's going to be a video game or if it's going to be like a simulator, kind of like Dual Nexus or Dueling Book.
Right.
So we don't actually know too much about that. I do, however, have like a list of like wants I want to see for the video game.
I do as well. Absolutely.
We could talk about that a little bit after we talk about the second game. And so the second night, which was crazy, is I didn't actually watch Jump Festa the second night because I was like, oh, they announced the video game already. Like, it is what it is. Like, they're not going to announce anything else. Well, I'm dumb because they announced a second video game, and this video game they announced is going to be on the Nintendo Switch, and it's called Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel. You can see the little icon up there. And so it is what it is. It is what it sounds like. It's a Rush Duel game that's for the Nintendo Switch. And I do believe we're going to get this in America. I do, however, believe it's going to be a while, mostly because they still have to dub Rush Duels, and they have to bring the whole Rush Duel game before they can release the video game. So it's going to be a while before we're actually going to be able to play this in America. However, just a note for Switch users: if you have a Switch account, you can make a Japanese Switch account to download Japanese games. So which I have. So I fully intend to play this game the day it gets released.
Yeah, I also have a Japanese account. I did that when the Pokemon games dropped.
Look at you guys in the tech to make sure that you do this. That's awesome.
I mean, it's completely legal too. Like, you just have to make sure you have. And the best part, you just have to make sure you have yen on your account.
And your Switch automatically translate most of the games.
Oh, you're kidding me! That's awesome. All right, guys. At some point, you're gonna have to show me this in real life.
So the reason I know about this is because Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist, it came out like 2 months. It came out for Japan like 2 months before it did in America, and I was like, "Screw that! I'm not waiting 2 months to play this game.
I did that too."
And so I looked up like the conversion rate from yen to US dollars, and I paid the correct amount of dollars I needed for the correct amount of yen, and I just bought the game.
That's awesome.
I did that a bit easier.
Guys, at some point, Shadowmew or you, Carlos, I need a YouTube video so I can see how to do this. All right, but anyways, Shadowmew, what were you gonna say?
I really hope obviously Rush Duel is going to be exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping for the other one, it's going to be like the games you have up there. I just love the grind of playing against the AI with my really crap deck.
Stop!
And slowly working my way up to having an actual functioning deck.
So we can actually, I don't know if that's sarcasm, but I actually really do like those kinds of styles.
Oh no, I love the crap decks because it's like, man, I gotta work with this jank. Because I remember booting up my PS2 because I have the GX Academy game, and they give you the worst deck to start with out of any game I've ever played, hands down.
You are killing me here because that is something that I am not wanting. I do not want the grind at all. Give me the cards.
I actually agree with Shadowmew. I really want them. I want them to have like a system where they have like every pack in Yu-Gi-Oh history, and you can go like you as you duel more, you earn duel points, and you basically use the duel points to unlock it. Like that's how every Yu-Gi-Oh game has been. And I do have to admit, I just want them to be reasonable with the amount of duel points they give you. That's been one of the gripes.
Ooh, okay, so that's interesting.
Right.
So when I think about the grind, there are many times I am literally just starting a match, quitting, getting the 800 points, going back in, quitting, and getting the 800, surrendering. And I just keep getting the points that way so I can open the packs. I don't know how many of you do the same thing in here, but I do that at times so I can get the points. Now, I do go through the whole campaign because you earn more points by doing that. And I usually do it with decks that I enjoy. But I really want the cards. That way I can start right from the gate facing other people in something sanctioned by Konami that is a simulator from them. So that is something I definitely want.
So
yeah, go ahead. What are you guys thinking?
Is it okay? Yeah. So I just kind of want to just give my list of things I want.
That's fine. Go right ahead.
So first of all, I would love it if it was like a 3D kind of game where it's open world and you could create your own character.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Oh, that'd be so cool.
Awesome. Exactly, and you could like walk around and choose and just walk up to someone and just challenge them to a duel.
Oh,
that would be fantastic.
That is awesome to imagine. Wow.
I want them to like give an option where you start off with a starter deck, but they have maybe like 10 or 20 different pre-built starter decks that you could choose from that are based around a theme that aren't completely overpowered. You can build them. Like say if they had like an Ice Barrier starter deck, a Karakuri starter deck, a Synchro starter deck, like just a starter deck that you could give to your players. Crystal Beast that wouldn't actually be like just something that wouldn't be super overpowered that they could play and have fun at it. I want the grind to be reasonable. Like I want them to give you a reasonable amount of duel points after each match. I don't want it to be pay to win. Like I don't want there to be monetization in the game.
No, absolutely not.
That would be terrible.
Yeah,
I'm at least proud of Konami for that with their non-mobile Yu-Gi-Oh games. Is you actually have to put in the work.
Yes, that's true. Yes, that's very true. Yeah, keep going with your list because I definitely have some thinking based on what you've shared already.
World's Championship 2011 is like one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh games, and there's some things that World Championship 2011 does that I would love for this game to do as well.
Okay.
Like for instance, World Championship 2011 has like a racing mode where you can do turbo dueling races. I would totally love if the new game has that as well. I would like if there's like an academy where you can go to school. Like
yes.
I basically want a game where the whole world is centered around the Yu-Gi-Oh world, and you can do the same thing that they do in Yu-Gi-Oh in the video game.
Yes, I agree.
I would say that for the Master Rule, if they want it, I would hope that it's just like the Dragon Ball Xenoverse games where you get to relive all the events as your own character. And yeah, the racing was really fun. I played those games too. Turbo duels were just stupidly unfair against the AI.
Okay.
You could break that so fast.
Well,
because it gave you speed points and everything.
So when I'm thinking about some of the things you guys have shared here, I love this idea of going into a world and just challenging people. Like we would have our own characters, like some sort of made up character, and we go and duel whoever we think. But what I'd like for it to be is specific kind of worlds where you'd have a casual world where you'd have like limited deck pools that you could use that are just not meta. Then you could have like ranked that would be absolutely meta based. And then maybe something somewhere in the middle. I don't know how they'd figure that out, but I think that would be super fun. The other thing that I want with this, and I have been begging Konami for this for years, we've got the 3D abilities to now have those virtual glasses. What are those? The VR stuff. Why are we not doing that with this game? Could you imagine you put on your headset, you're in an arena, people actually are also in the arena that are watching these big time duels, and then you actually are simulating what's actually like what would happen in the anime. Could you imagine how hyped that would be?
Funny enough,
go ahead.
There's Yu-Gi-Oh VR that's completely free to use if you have a VR set.
Wait, say that again.
There's Yu-Gi-Oh VR, where as long as you have a VR set and a computer, you can run this. And they've been working on it for a solid 2 years now, and they have a lot of the cards from the original series. And I think they've gone up to deck building by now.
Oh, you're kidding me! That is awesome.
It's completely fan made, but yeah, you get to just duel with all those cards. Nothing's automated though, but it's just hilarious.
I would love to see that, because I think that's what we would all like, is to have that moment where, especially if we have like big tournaments that Konami actually runs this way. And that's the other thing. I want a tournament mode where me, as someone who wants to stream it, can watch and commentate and go into anyone's match, just like I do on Nexus. And then, we can run our tournaments like you can in other games that are similar to this. I'm pretty excited about that.
There we go.
Oh, are you in, Carlos?
Yeah, I'm sorry. My Wi-Fi went out. Like my whole Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Carlos, what were your other thoughts that you had? Go ahead.
Okay, because you brought up some really good points, and I just wanted to kind of expand on that. I think if they're going to do a world, right? I think it has to be a single player kind of offline thing where you just duel against the AI. I do, however, like the idea of having like a kind of online mode where you can have like another world where you duel people online. I think that would be absolutely fun. And I do like the idea of like if you have an online world, maybe separate it between like casual and ranked duels. You could just have like one be ranked and then one be non-ranked, and that's how you would kind of, in my opinion, separate the two.
I think that'd be awesome. Also, what about tag duels, guys? How awesome would that be to have a tag duel system as well?
I think that'd be so fun. And then one of the other things I want to see is I want to see each of the cards animated in 3D.
Yes.
I think that would look really, really beautiful.
But reasonable. Not like how they do it in Legacy. I literally avoid using the key cards because it takes so long to play a duel if you're using them.
I agree. Because the Dark Magician comes out and he slaps his hand out there, or the Odd Eyes hits the field and moves his head around.
Just make it so I can select what my key card is, and then we'll go with the animations. Don't make it, you've lost against this AI 10 times, and you've seen him use Utopia 3. Great. Have it again.
Yes, because the animation just is not, it's not cool. I mean, it just isn't. They got to do a better job. They've got to make it look better.
I kind of want the animation to be like the DS games, just more updated. Like when you play the card, the monster or the spell or whatever pops out from the card, and it kind of hovers over it. I think that'd be the best option.
I would like it drawn in 2D sprites with HD capability, like you see in like fighting games like BlazBlue. If they did something like that with these cards and had them animate like you're saying, Carlos, that would be super cool. I would be very excited if they did something like that. Other thoughts you guys have for the game?
I would just say, just keep the overall, like the old grind from the old games if that's what they're going to be going for. Mm-hmm. I just liked it so much. It was more fun to go around and find all these weird characters that used all these archetypes that you didn't really see. and you got rewarded for playing against them. You didn't get cards, but you got a lot of points for using flashy styles of winning.
Yeah, yeah. And that's true. And I think for some players, I think they're going to enjoy that. For me personally, that just wasn't me because I did that with the first Legacy of Duelist game. I've done that with every game I've purchased from this company, The Grind. And I'm ready for something like Nexus where it gives me the cards. Honestly, and I know you guys weren't up for this idea about money, but I'd be honestly okay paying $5 a month for all the cards as long as they were all there. But they'd have to all be there, including new cards that are coming out in the future.
So that would only work if it was a simulator like Dual Nexus or something else.
Yeah.
I'm saying the wishes I gave were for a AAA title. Now if it's a simulator like Dual Nexus, my wish list for it completely changes.
Okay.
In that case.
Okay. What would be on your wish list?
Like if it was a simulator, I kind of want them to have like 3D card effects. I want everything to be unlocked, like no grind.
Uh-huh. Oh, you still there?
I think he dropped again.
Oh, rats.
I think
yeah.
I think we're getting to the point where his Wi-Fi is having a lot of issues.
Oh, that really stinks. Oh, Diablos, you bring up a great point.
So, sorry. What happened was my Wi-Fi came back. My
Oh, no, yeah.
Oh, no, there it goes again.
Can you guys hear me?
You keep dropping.
That's okay. So, Diablos, I like the point you bring up here. There should be a TCG and OCG setting. You are absolutely 100% right with that because this whole world ban list is ridiculous. It's so weird to play through. I would definitely because for those who maybe want to experience how different the OCG is, it'd be fun to do just OCG. And then if you want to do just TCG, of course you could do that too. So I do like that idea. Let's have some different ones. And then Grunt, you're absolutely right. Please update the game. We're willing to pay the money. Just update the game and don't just release it after every 2 years. Okay. Other thoughts that you guys have?
If they're gonna do the animation AAA thing, just take Yugi from Jump Force and use that as a base.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Those look as good as they need to.
Yep. Great point.
Maybe have card packs.
I'm back, by the way.
Okay. We'll let you finish your thought in just a second, Carlos. Go ahead, Shadowmew.
Maybe just have some card packs that just like randomly regenerate and you get free cards every so often. They're lesser quality than the ones you buy.
Okay.
Just look at Dragon Ball Xenoverse and how it did its hub world and just mix that with the graphics of Jump Force. And I feel like it'd be a pretty good game.
I agree. I think that would be pretty cool. Carlos, what was the thought you had before you ended up dropping there by accident?
Yeah, sorry. What happened was my Wi-Fi came back, and so I was on the call on the laptop.
Oh,
and,
okay.
It switched me back to the laptop from my phone.
Okay.
Because it thought, oh, yeah, he's back, and it was just a whole bunch of mess. But
no, I get that.
I lost my train of thought about the video game, but basically, I just want it to be a really fun video game.
Yeah.
If it's an online kind of simulator like Dual Nexus, I'd be okay with them giving us every single card.
Yeah.
If we had to pay like a monthly fee, but
yes.
Preferably, I'd like it to be like a free-to-play simulator to get more people invested in the game.
Yeah, and I do like free-to-play. Fan base. I like how Nexus does it. But of course, they're just trying to raise enough money to keep the site going. But me personally, I'm willing to pay money each month because I really appreciate how well that works. And so as long as the game works and it does what we're asking it to do, I think they could have a wonderful market on their hands, and it's going to lead to people coming in. So we'll see if they do that, though. I hope they do. Moving on here, Carlos, I don't know about this, so you're going to have to take this slide. The new Yu-Gi-Oh! Core booster set, Dawn of Mystery. I don't know what this is, so go ahead and tell me about it.
Yeah, so we don't know much about this set. All we know is that in the OCG in April, they're getting a new set called Dawn of Mystery.
Uh-huh.
We don't actually even know if it's a core booster set. I'm assuming it's a core booster set because of the way they announced it. If it is, we'll give you guys more updates as it comes. If it turns out to be like a side set or a reprint set, we'll teach you guys. Or we'll tell you guys about that too when the information comes out. I don't want to speculate too much, but Dawn of Majesty kind of sounds like the Herald cards.
Oh,
So maybe
okay.
we're gonna see some more Herald support. I think that would be awesome. But yeah, that's pretty much what we have currently in terms of knowledge for that booster set.
Okay. Awesome. All right, and then this was interesting. I heard about a cyber dragon that went up and that someone found an expensive one, but the way you have this titled, Carlos, it's uncovered, like it had never been found before or something. Please expand on this. It sounds interesting.
Yeah. So it's really kind of a gray area as to exact like details, but basically what I gathered is back in the early 2000s, around the GX time era,
Okay.
there was a action figure company called Mattel, and they're really popular for making like wrestling action figures, but they wanted to dip into the Yu-Gi-Oh market, right? So they released a line of Yu-Gi-Oh products, and with each action figure you would actually get a special card.
Oh,
And
wow.
they were kind of like parallel rares in that they have like a kind of shine to them,
Yeah,
but they're
yeah.
not really secret rares, they're not really super ultras, they're just common rarity, but they have like a kind of sparkle to them, and
Uh-huh.
they're called like parallel rares.
Yes.
And so it was rumored that there was a Mattel action figure and a Mattel Cyber Dragon, but people couldn't actually confirm it, and or they're so rare that there hasn't been one on the market for years, and people didn't know if it existed. And recently, one showed up on the market yesterday, proving that it existed, and
Wow.
it's selling for quite a bit of money. I think the person's asking for over $10,000 for
Oh
it,
my
and
gosh. Now
it's
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 interesting.
crazy.
Yeah, it's
And so
interesting you
what
bring
it
that up because I don't know if you guys watch Team Sam's channel, but he just had this guy go through his collection and it was hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the amount of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that are just, I mean, the amount of money people are spending right now, it is amazing to me. Because the duelist they had on there was talking about he'll easily drop 10 grand on just one type of card. And there's other people doing similar things. So it's exciting that there's even more of that happening with this right now. What were you gonna say though, Carlos? What were you gonna say in addition to what you were thinking there?
Um, just it's kind of crazy that people spend that much on Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and more specifically about the Mattel, a little bit more information. I think they weren't sure. I think some of that card might have been a prototype card,
Oh
and they might
wow.
have yeah, it might have not even ever been released, and it might have just been the prototype they showed to the investors to go like, hey, here, this is the card we have. This is what we're gonna kind of
Oh my
try to
goodness.
market. So that card might be really really rare. So
And it makes it even more money. Grunt was asking a great question. Is the only card unconfirmed from that set Blackluster Soldier?
there is a Blackluster Soldier that was never released, um, as far as I could tell. They have like an image of the action figure, but
Uh-huh.
no one knows where the card itself is for
Oh
the
wow.
Blackluster Soldier. So
Diablos, I'm right
if
there with you,
someone,
man. $50 is as high as I could even think of going, and I don't even do that. Usually it's $10 or less.
oh dude,
Yes.
I would pay $50 for like if someone offered me one of those cards, I'd pay $50 in a heartbeat because I know I could get thousands of dollars for it.
Oh yeah, if I had that kind of cash, yeah. But yeah, I'm
Speaking
poor.
of expensive cards, nudge nudge wink wink.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. If you want, you can go to the next slide and we can talk about something
Oh,
really
sorry.
special.
Oh yes, that's right. Yes, please. Yeah, go ahead and tell us about this giveaway.
Okay, so Konami is actually running a special giveaway, and it's kind of to it kind of replaces the World Championship prize cards in a way, because we're not doing Worlds, and a lot of people are stuck at home, so they're doing like a giveaway, and they're giving away these like really rare cards. Basically, just all you had to do is enter a contest. And so what it is there's 300 cards limited to the United States and Canada, right?
Yeah.
And they did a United We Stand, and people didn't really realize like, oh, this is pretty rare. And so when United We Stand, the contest for that happened, a lot of people didn't apply, so everyone who applied instantly won the card.
Oh my goodness!
The card ended up being worth a lot of money. Like raw tongue twister. Raw copies sell for $2,500.
Oh my gosh!
And I've seen a graded 10 PSA one listed for 7,000. So these cards are a lot of money. And the next one was the Guardian Angel Joanne. And so all you had to do, or Jonah, all you had to do was basically apply to the contest on Twitter. All you had to do is post like a picture of how you were enjoying Yu-Gi-Oh. So I did that. And me having the ridiculous luck I do with Yu-Gi-Oh, I actually won the contest. So I'm getting a secret rare Guardian Angel Jonah.
How does he do it? How do you do it, man?
God. It's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna take pictures. So once I get it, and we do the next time we do the podcast, I'll show you guys. But I'm totally plan on cherishing that card.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't want to say what I'm going to do with it because I don't want Konami to not send it to me, but I do plan on making some money from it.
It's a nice investment for the future.
Yep, there you go.
It's definitely going to be a nice investment for the future, and I was actually planning on taking some of the money because the car is going to be worth like a couple thousand.
Wow.
I was going to take some of the money, and I currently have a tattoo on my right arm. I was actually going to get it covered up with a Yu-Gi-Oh sleeve.
Oh.
So the plan is to use that card's money to fund a Yu-Gi-Oh themed tattoo.
Oh, that's cool. That is very cool. I like that. That's awesome. And again, congratulations to you, Shadowmew. I know you have been working hard on your channel because there's regular content that you post on a regular basis, and it's great to see that people are enjoying what you're doing. You do a good job. And we appreciate you coming on today. You are always a blast to have on the podcast.
I live to make people laugh.
Well, you do a nice job. And Obeliskblue13, you are also wonderful to have on our podcast. I appreciate your expertise and also the humor that you bring. And tonight was pretty funny with the dropping of the Wi-Fi and then it kicking back on. That was very interesting.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. It honestly, I'm still having Wi-Fi issues, but I'm on my phone now, so like I'm just off the Wi-Fi. But once we get off this conversation, I have to figure out what the heck's going on.
That's okay. That's all right. Well, guys, thank you so much. And for everyone that was watching, that's going to do it for this podcast. We appreciate how many of you stayed with us the whole time. So we'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much if you made it to the end of our podcast. If you did enjoy this, please hit that like button, and we'll see you guys next time.
But I wait for your next challenge. I know that you'll be back.